Could Prince Harry's year get any worse? Angering his father by giving a tell-all interview with the monarchy-hating Guardian newspaper after the Clarence House summit, his media and business career in freefall, his finances a disaster, trapped in a loveless marriage, and a very public war of words with the chairwoman of Sentebale, the organisation that he co-founded in memory of his mother Diana, and which now, thanks to him, is a smoking ruin of a charity and a public relations dumpster fire. Well, it gets worse. Breaking news, the government of the beautiful African country of Chad has dumped Harry's flagship animal conservation charity, African Parks. Harry has been dumped by a major African administration, and it is a total humiliation. Here's the thing about the Duke of Sussex. Harry has the reverse of the Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to mud. This guy is the broken clock that isn't even right twice a day. So this charity, African Parks, another vehicle for Harry's ego and something that's there to fill his increasingly empty diary, has literally been cancelled by the Chad administration, the government of the African nation of Chad. I mean, this is beyond, it's a diplomatic disaster and a huge embarrassment for King Charles, because unfortunately for King Charles, although he's effectively disowned Harry, Harry remains his son. And therefore, unfortunately, anything that Harry does will still reflect on the monarch. So what's happened is the Chad administration, the government of Chad, right, an entire government have cancelled Harry. You couldn't make it up. They've announced the end of a 15-year partnership with immediate effect, okay? This is no cooling off period. They haven't said, look, the relationship's not working. We're going to wind this up gradually. We'll give it a year and we'll stay friends. No. Like everyone else in Harry's life, the Chad government of Africa want out. They want out. Why? Because Harry has got the reverse Midas touch. So they've announced the end of this 15-year partnership with immediate effect. So it's over. It's gone. Okay? Like Roy Orbison used to sing, it's over. It's over. It is over. So Chad's heroic environment minister, Hassan Baki Jamous, who's one of those rare individuals who's willing to stand up to Prince Harry, just like the majestic Dr. Sophie Chandauka at Sentebale. And this guy, this total rock star of a politician, Hassan Bakit Jamous, has said Harry's charity displayed, and I quote, a recurring, indelicate and disrespectful attitude towards the government. Ha! Imagine a recurring, indelicate and disrespectful attitude. Does that sound familiar? Indelicate, disrespectful. Ask Prince William, Princess Catherine or King Charles whether they've ever experienced anyone in their lives that's got a recurring, indelicate and disrespectful attitude. Ask the late, great Queen Elizabeth II whether she's known somebody in her family, in her life, that had a recurring, indelicate and disrespectful attitude. I give you Prince Harry, ladies and gentlemen. So, Hassan Bakit Jamous, who is now, he's in the Mark Dolan Show Hall of Fame of rock star figures, and there's only a few that have stood up to Harry and Meghan, right? There are others. You've got Piers Morgan, you've got the wonderful Jeremy Clarkson, of course. You've got Dr. Sophie Chandauka. There are some people that have stood up to Harry. We have the absolute high priest, the Pope of rock stars that has stood up to Prince Harry is William. And I've got to tell you that watching that interview on Apple TV Plus that he did with Eugene Levy, it was the TV event of the year. And whenever I'm feeling blue, all I have to do is take a look at you. I sing that to Mrs. Dolan every night. Sends her to sleep very quickly. She's a you know what? The sleep apnea is it? She has to wear a whole apparatus just to keep the jaw at the right angle. Anyway, Mrs. Dolan every night. When I think of you, all I have to do. So here's the thing, right? Notwithstanding Mrs. Dolan's sleep apnea and other bedroom apparatus. We haven't got time for this. You see, this is the problem with the show, which is I've got these important truth bombs to get over to you, and then you chip in with remarks with questions, with little, ideas. I don't have time for your ideas. I love you very much, but we've got work to do. So please, can we just crack on with this? So much to get through. Right. Hassan, oh yeah, well, the rock star of individuals that stood up to Harry is, of course, William. And when William becomes king, Harry's life won't be worth living. Okay? When William is king, Harry's life won't, why are my eyes closed, be worth living. Let's get them open. There you go. So I love this rock star, right? This is the environment minister. This is the kind of leadership the world needs. Hassan Bakit Jamous, who said, sorry, Harry, I'm out, right? Just like Dragon's Den in the UK or the Shark Tank, as they call it in North America, that business show where these entrepreneurs have to go and pitch their business idea for money. So look, it's quite a spectacular moment. I mean, how many more public relations disasters is Harry going to be responsible for? Can you name the last bad, embarrassing thing that happened to his brother William? What was the last thing? What was it? I've got time. Among yourselves, let me get stuck into the decaf. While you tell me in the comments, can you tell me the last time that William put a foot wrong, had a negative headline? Tell me that. I haven't had time to do makeup, so just while you're thinking of, I'll just do around the eyes. Let's get rid of those bags. No, so Mrs. Dolan, sleep apnea. It's honestly like a combine harvester or something. I'll tell you. And we've tried medication, and I put her on a drip. I put her on a drip briefly. And that only, that just put her in a bad mood, the drip. So we had to move on. Right, the Chad government. So here we go. This is a massive story. This is big news. The Chad government accused Harry's charity of arrogance. I'm not making this up. You would think, wouldn't you, that I was making this up? The Chad government have accused Harry's charity of arrogance, serious financial misconduct, and failing to protect wildlife, which, by the way, is what they're supposed to do, is to protect wildlife. That's the purpose of the charity. Serious financial misconduct. Well, Harry is a disaster with money. Right? Harry's finances are a hot mess because so much more is going out than comes in, and his only sensible, conceivable source of income is to attack his family. That's Harry's job. That's his business model. That's what Harry does. Is he attacks his family for dollars. That's it. C'est tout. C'est tout. Il n'existe plus. Parce qu'il n'a pas beaucoup de talent. Il est très, très mauvais homme. Avec peu de talent. Alors, peu de talent. Il a 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 peu de talent. Honestly, and the apparatus, you have to screw it all together before she finally falls asleep. It's not easy. And then it has to be dismantled in the morning, and the creams and the ointments and the elixirs. I'm a martyr to it, let me tell you. We're a martyr to the pharmaceutical industry. The Chad government accused Harry's charity of arrogance, serious financial misconduct, and failing to protect wildlife. This is Harry's second charity that's a hot mess, that is a smoking ruin of a charity and a public relations dumpster fire. Harry's done it again. Over 4 damning pages, the ministry alleged grave breaches of contract and financial irregularities, accusing the charity of keeping unaudited accounts and not being transparent over how funds were raised, managed, and spent. You see, the idea of Harry being across the accounts, right? Harry is not, let's be honest about this. He might be a well-meaning chap, okay? Shall we say that? A well-meaning chap. By the way, I have to adjust my tie. Sometimes you say in the comments that I fiddle with my tie too much, but can I tell you, in yesterday's show, I didn't fiddle with my tie, and I watched the show back with a large brandy and a cigar, and I have to tell you that my tie was loose. And I was horrified. It was an abject disaster. Go back tomorrow. If you go back go back in time. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way. Go back to yesterday's show and you'll find my tie was a hot mess. So that won't be happening again. So I think every 4 minutes I'm just gonna. That's what I've had for 20 years. It's like Concorde. Is Concorde back? No. It's just a sleep apnea. It's no laughing matter. Thank goodness we haven't made light of it. So, over 4 damning pages. When you're at home, you want to be safe, happy and secure. It's why we have locks on the front door. So why not have the same online? Unfortunately, when you're using your computer, tablet or smartphone, companies can track you, exploit your data and see exactly what you're up to. And I don't want anyone finding out about my cat video habit. Plus, there are bad actors out there, hackers, scammers, viruses, bots, malware, all ready to make your life miserable. Not to mention those endless annoying ads that aren't nearly as entertaining as this one. That's why I use Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that protects you online, an invisible shield that hides your location and keeps you and your data private. And here's the fun part. It also unlocks content from around the world. So, do you want to watch NBC without being in America? Or the BBC without being in the UK? No problem. Surfshark is safe, secure, and opens up a whole world of global content. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it completely risk-free. And here's the deal. If you go to surfshark.com/Dolan or use the code Dolan at checkout, you'll get 4 extra months absolutely free. That is surfshark.com/Dolan or code Dolan for 4 extra months free. Right, even though I'm in Britain, I'm now off to a US website to watch season 3 of Suits. Meghan's brilliant in it. The Ministry of Chad, which is obviously a well-run administration, right? They know their onions. They've taken one look at Harry's crackpot organisation, his cowboy outfit, and they've said this is not fit for purpose. Well done. I might go and, do you know what I should do? I should go and fly out to Chad and do some shows from there and meet some of these heroic government ministers that have seen through Harry and that have taken him down to Chinatown. I mean, he must have been horrified when he woke up this morning. Hello, I'm Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire, and now I've gone on the internet and it turns out I'm really rubbish at being involved with charities. I keep making everyone really angry and the charities don't make the money they're supposed to for the causes that they were designed to support, and it's always a hot mess, it's always a smoking ruin, and it's always a public relations dumpster fire. Humpy dumpy dumpy dumpy. Seriously, let me know in the comments, right? Would you let Harry run anything at all? I mean, would you let him run, you know when children in the summer they make lemonade and they sell it on the street? Well, I mean, would you let Harry oversee that, like the lemonade stall? Do you think he could be trusted? I don't. Oh no, sorry, I forgot the lemonade. I'm really sorry. We made lemonade, but I forgot to put sugar in and lemons and water. But apart from that, we've got lemonade. The guy is. So when we talk about this, right, unaudited accounts, right, unaudited accounts. Worth remembering that Harry, he might be well-meaning, but he struggled academically. He's not a clever man, right? He's not a well man. He's not right in the head. Harry is not right in the head at all. And that's why, do you know the funny thing is that I need to be in his life? I'm not even joking. I need to be in Harry's life because I could talk sense into him. Fueled by the wisdom of your comments, I could drop a few truth bombs that he needs to hear, because the truth is always good for you. However uncomfortable, isn't that right? The truth is always good for you. It's like cod liver oil. It's medicinal. It's like that brandy I had last night and the cigar and the woodbines that I chewed and the nicotine gum and the very small amount of poppers that I enjoyed last night. I'm joking. Can I tell you, the Mark Dolan show is drug-free. We're tobacco-free. I have the occasional beer. And I'm very strict about which beer I have. I only have the finest beer. I have the best beer in the world, which is Budweiser, which is the king of beers. We know that because it says it on every can and on every bottle. And that makes it a fact. So, no, we're drug-free on the Mark Dolan show. It's the great scourge. If you could press a button and make drugs not exist, Wouldn't that be a button that most people would press? Think of all the trouble in the world because of drugs. It's the worst thing ever, isn't it? So, there you go. I'm high on life, I can't lie. I'm high on life. Right, so, Harry struggled. By the way, talking about Harry, the idea that he could be in charge of a charity's accounts, given how much weed he smoked back in the day, it's massive. He was a massive weed head. He was constantly, I mean, I think a decade of his life, he was baked. Harry was just baked, okay, for a decade. Oh, Prince Harry get completely baked every night, man. Yeah. No wonder he's depressed. It's all the psychosis that comes from these terrible... that's why the Mark Dolan show is drug-free, because it's terrible for you. It's terrible for you. Not the Budweiser, because that is actually hydration. Is what it is. I'm actually assiduously avoiding hydration if ever I take a beer. If I take a drink, is that against the law? If I have a good time, then you will call it an act of war. No, 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 no. We're living on the front line, you and me, hopping off hip and a misery over my head. Nick it up bed with me, and not get it an act of war. Ooh! That's a 1980s track called Act of War by Elton John, which was, first of all, you notice I sort of struggled with a couple of those lyrics. That's Elton is live. Elton is like that live. When you go and see Elton live, he never, half the lyrics, he's like, goodbye, Norm, candle in the wind. That's basically, he disguises, and I've just done the same thing. Act of War, that's your homework. Go and listen to Act of War. Elton John and Millie Jackson, it's from the Ice on Fire album. And she's brilliant. Millie Jackson, what a singer. It was originally written with Tina Turner in mind, who we talked about on yesterday's show. What a wonderful talent she was. What an amazing, amazing lady. What a life as well. And a lot of you said that you really love Simply the Best. You said that was your favorite song of hers. She did that one, Private Dancer. I'm a private dancer, dancing for money, money that money can't buy. You're a private dancer, mama should wear some booty. Who needs lyrics? I might do a live concert just with songs and just mumble every word and become very successful. Right, so we have to stay focused because I've really got to get through this. There's so much to share with you today. Oh, by the way, so Act of War was, Elton wrote that with Tina Turner in mind, and then she declined to appear on the song, which has got to hurt. It wasn't a great time for Elton. It was about 1986, and he was a little bit in between at that point, and he was rebuked by Tina Turner. So the story goes. What I will say is, he bounced back and then some, but also Millie Jackson, the Tina Turner stand-in, brilliant. Brilliant. So that's your homework. Act of War, Elton John. Have a listen. You'll really like it. If you haven't got streaming, listen to it on YouTube. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. Right. So, but Harry was not, he's not a smart cookie. And he didn't get his exams. You have these things in the UK, A-levels. He got 2 A-levels. Performed very, very badly. Struggled at Eton. The idea that he'd be in charge of, auditing a charity's accounts. So it goes on. It's alleged that the charity illegally collected tourism revenues, used tax haven bank accounts in the Isle of Man, yikes, and transferred capital and foreign exchange abroad to the detriment of Chad and in flagrant violation of national banking and tax regulations. Now, it's not surprising that this has happened on Harry's watch. Can I just say, really, really importantly, and this is really important, Harry's not corrupt, okay? He's not a guy that is going to deliberately break the rules and steal for financial gain. That's not Harry, okay? What's happened clearly is that there has been some alleged mismanagement within the machinery of the charity, okay? That's not Harry. But it's indicative of an organization that Harry represents. Because A, he's not that smart and doesn't know about due diligence, and the guy couldn't run a bath, okay? And also, he's so detached from these charities. He goes there for the photo call and has occasional Zoom meetings with them. But he's not a present person. I mean, was obsessed, right? All we heard for years was Centre Barley. Oh, Centre Barley is really important to me, co-founded it in the memory of my mother, Diana. And I'm sort of Diana, really. I'm Diana 2.0, really. And he made a big fuss about Centre Barley, except that he went to Lesotho, which is where Centre Barley is based, he's 2 or 3 times in like 6 years. Now, if you're a millionaire with an unlimited budget and you represent a charity in Africa, I mean, if I was the patron of Centre Barley, especially if I had the means, because obviously it's not a cheap thing to get yourself out to, but if you've got the means and you've got the time, which Harry does because he has no job, then I would be in Lesotho minimum twice a year. Let me know in the comments, how many times, if you represent a charity, how many times should you go to the country where that charity is based? I'd say minimum twice a year. Harry, he went about 3 times in 6 or 7 years, right? So he's a detached figure and he doesn't walk the hard yards. And what it means is that stuff goes wrong because he's not there, asleep at the wheel. And there's a pattern here, folks, with Harry's awful business ventures that quietly dry up and his charity ventures, which become a PR disaster. And then, of course, his family life, which is just, I said everything he touches turns to mud, but it's not just that. He falls out with everyone. Harry hates the world. He's such an angry man. And he falls out with everyone. He's so vitriolic. And he's not well. He's not right in the head. So, of course, he's not good with money, right? Therefore, he's the wrong person to be anywhere near a charity. This is a guy that's racked up a bill of $3 million from failed court cases against the British government and the Mail on Sunday. Now, it goes on, right? This ministry also claimed that African parks had prioritised tourism over conservation and banned the people of Chad from certain sites and failed to invest in essential equipment for rangers as poaching surged across its parks. So here's the backstory, right? Prince Harry became president of this organisation in 2017. The idea that Harry was president of this important platform. I mean, I wouldn't make Harry president of his own living room. All right? I wouldn't make Harry, the microphone's there, I wouldn't make Harry president of his own sock collection, is what I wouldn't make Harry president of. How many pairs of glasses do I need to just reflect on the idea of Harry being president of anything? President of his own ego, maybe. Help me out with this. So he became president in 2017 and he loves, of course, the photo opportunity. He loves the letterhead. Harry's got a massive ego. Do you know that? He's got a titanic ego. And just like the Titanic, it's going to sink without trace. But he does. That's why he sued the British government for armed security. It's not about safety. This is a guy that goes to war zones, Colombia, Lesotho, and, of course, most recently, Ukraine. The reason he's done that legal action against the British government is so that he can have men around him, with the guns and the flak jacket and the SWAT team, and they talk into their lapel, like that, you know what I mean? Oh, here comes the Duke of Sussex. No one cares. And that's the bottom line, right? That's just a flex. It's an ego thing because he craves having the court of Prince Harry. That's right. That's what it is. It's the court of Prince Harry. And he needs to have his courtiers. And it's so ironic that he threw away his royal privileges because he hates being a royal. It was so awful being a frontline royal. It was so terrible being the spare and the heir. And yet, when he's deprived of it, he doesn't like it. And he misses the trappings and realizes it was a lovely thing to have. And it's a big part of his personality, a big part of his identity. And it's a big part of his ego. And now his ego bruised again by the heroic Chad government. And I've got to do a special there. I mean, seriously, I've got to go and meet those folks and just congratulate them for being so heroic. So in 2017, the H-bomb, Harry, my husband. By the way, can I just say, I actually quite like wearing 2 pairs of glasses because it gives me actually double vision. You see everything twice in a lot more detail. So he became president of the organization in 2017 before being promoted. No, he was promoted. Before being promoted to the governing board of directors. This guy could not govern a hairbrush. And now he's in charge of a massive charity with a budget of millions. Make it make sense. In 2023, he assumed greater responsibility for management and strategy. Management and strategy. Honestly, it takes about an hour to assemble the full apparatus because you've got to have something around the chin and then you've got a bowl to collect the spittle. Sleep apnea. Harry is responsible for management and strategy. I mean, that's like putting Count Dracula in charge of a blood bank, folks, right? It's like putting James Corden in charge of a pancake factory. There will be no pancakes. It's a horror show. So the charity manages 24 protected areas across 13 African countries with the backing of billionaire philanthropists, including Howard Buffett and Bill Ackman. Now, can I just say that they are both outstanding, amazing men. Bill Ackman, a financier, very wise man. I follow him on X. He's a very interesting guy, successful entrepreneur, and a good, a very generous guy. I'm a huge fan of Bill Ackman. I really am. And Howard Buffett is brilliant too. Howard Buffett is a top-level farmer who just happens to be the son of Warren Buffett, who is the 95-year-old American billionaire. At various points in his life, he's been the richest man in the world, Warren Buffett. At the moment, I think he's number 3. He's worth about $160 billion. He's a very rich and wise man. And his son, right? Isn't this an amazing thing? That Warren Buffett's son could so easily be on a beach, just, whiling away the time, just having a perfect luxury life in St. Lucia or in the Bahamas. But no, Howard Buffett, even though his dad is a billionaire, is a hardworking farmer and a big environmentalist and a great guy. So Howard Buffett, thumbs up, and Bill Ackman, thumbs up. And actually, a lot of the work that this group do, this charity do, is excellent. But it's been a disaster in Chad, okay, because it was all about anti-poaching, and that's fine. But the problem they've got is that, it's not run well in Chad, and it's another story, part of a pattern of behavior from Harry to be associated with and put his name to charities that wind up backfiring horribly and blowing up in his face. It's complete disaster, right? And it is a dent to the reputation of African parks, which has been criticised for adopting a militarised approach to conservation and has had cases of abuse confirmed against his staff. Earlier this year, an independent investigation found that employees of the charity in the Republic of the Congo had beaten, assaulted and tortured indigenous Baka people. While African Parks acknowledged serious abuses, it declined to publish the full report, prompting accusations of secrecy and impunity. But here's the thing. If you're Prince Harry and you've got half a brain cell, which he doesn't, you'd be looking into the running of these charities and weeding out this kind of appalling behaviour and abuse. It shouldn't happen on your watch. And I know he wasn't directly responsible for all of that terrible behaviour, but he's the figurehead. And when a corporation has problems with its staff and there's a culture which is disgraceful and wrong, then the boss normally pays the price. And I think that's happened to Harry now. And it's amazing that he's still involved, by the way. I mean, at a certain point, surely Bill Ackman and Thingamajig Buffett are going to chuck him out. Old Howard Buffett. By the way, it's ironic that we should mention Howard Buffett because it's the view of the Mark Dolan show that when Meghan and Harry divorce, which is inevitable, Meghan will look for a billionaire. The Mark Dolan show is the first show in the world to have predicted the final piece in the jigsaw puzzle for Meghan, because she's got the fame thanks to Harry and the social position and the title Duchess of Sussex. What she doesn't have is money. They don't have proper money. They got less than 100 million, around 60 million. And by the time you take out the mortgage debt and the outgoings and everything, it doesn't amount to a lot. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans. So she'll be looking for a billionaire. Ironically, she'll be interested in someone like Howard Buffett's father. Howard Buffett, by the way, in his mid-70s, Warren, 95, and that's Meghan's favorite kind of guy, is old rich men. Right? That's what she's looking for. That's what it'll say on her Tinder profile. I'm looking for a wrinkly old man in his 90s with $1 billion in the bank. You're welcome. And I'll bake for him every day with flour sprinkles. And what'll happen is the flour sprinkles, which are toxic and hallucinogenic, will hasten his demise, and then I'll get all his money. You're welcome. No, I'm into old men. I find old wrinkly men with money very hot. And I love Warren, and I would be such a good wife to Warren, and because he's so cute with his little 95-year-old man's face, and I'll take great care of Warren, and I will buff Warren. Every night I will buff him just before going to sleep. I will buff the Buffet. I will buff the Buffet. The Buffet will be buffed on a regular basis. There'll be a lot of buffing going on. Every buffing night I'll be buffing the Buffet. Buff the Buffet. I'll be buffing the Buffet. I'll be buffing him, and Warren loves it when I buff the Buffet. So the whole thing's a hot mess. And it's very sad because you've got real people here and real lives. And you've got the poachers who need to be caught. And you've got people in Africa who are struggling and very broke. And it's a hard, hard life. And here we go again. Now, Harry's been contacted for comment. There's no comment. You see, that's very ironic, isn't it? Because when you actually try to hold Harry to account, he's AWOL. He runs for the hills because he has no sense of responsibility. Folks, it's been incredible to talk. I need to run, but I cannot wait to see you for tomorrow's show. Many more truth bombs to come. Please like, subscribe, and all of those things that people do on the internet. And I'll see you for the next one. Big love. Stay awesome. And bye for now. When I think of those eastern lights, muggy nights, curtains drawn in a little room downstairs. Prima donna, Lord, you really should have been there, sitting like a princess perched in her electric chair. And it's one more beer, and I don't hear you anymore. We've all gone crazy lately, my friends out there, rolling round the basement floor. Ooh, someone saved my life tonight, Sugar Bear.